Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the first question is, how do you personally navigate the ethical dilemmas in your reporting work, specifically in cases like reporting cases in minors and things like that?
Hmm. Yeah. They always say that ethics is an important thing in any day reporting, and especially in our job and our profession. You really need to follow the strict guidelines for you to give out a comprehensive and an accurate report that will appeal to the masses and both the company. Nobody will be offended. Nobody will take you to court. You've seen, you've had a lot of court battles with reporters. But I want to tell you that you find yourself in a situation where someone closer to you, be it your parent, your spouse, or a friend, is involved in a story that you're following up. Let's say, I always use this example. You find that your mother is a Changa brewer
Mm,
back in the village.
mm,
And the police have tipped you that we are going to conduct a raid. And you know very well that this raid is going to have your mother apprehended. What do you do as a journalist? Do you warn your mother, or do you go on and do the story? So you find that is where a challenge comes in. But if it was me in that scenario, uh, I will I will declare, I will give a disclaimer that I'm doing this story, or if I have to do that story, I'll do it with a disclaimer that I'm a person of interest in this story. And in most cases, in such a scenario, we always talk to our bosses and we acquaint ourselves. We tell our bosses that, look here, I have interest in this story. I have interest in this person. I might be biased in my reporting.
uh,
So we tend to request that they assign else to conduct that story so that
oh,
the story comes out accurate, well, and balanced reported. That is one way we try and find the ethics. And again, uh, you go and conduct a story. Someone calls you and tells you, hey, guy, I don't want that story to go on air.
mm,
I'm ready to offer you whatever you want to make sure that that story does not see the light. What you do
uh,
in such a scenario is that
mm,
you don't kill the story, but you call that person and tell the person, now I'm giving you a platform to give me your right of reply. Give me what you feel should be included in this story. That's
uh,
exactly what we do. You don't kill the story. At the same time, you leave that person having a chance to respond to the story you're working on.
okay.
I
And
think I think that is a
can you share a point where you had to make a difficult ethical decision on a story, specifically in your career?
yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I've been in such a situation, and I lost friends because in my line of work
Ah,
they are involved. But the story is nice. Everyone wants
ah,
to follow it up. You have to
ah,
choose and draw the line.
ah,
Do I do the story or I save them? And then in a bad scenario, I lost the friends, but did the story.
ah,
Like me, I have political friends.
ah,
There is a situation. A politician who is your friend is being apprehended for some such a thing. Someone tells you we are going to Kushika,
mm,
we politician.
yeah,
That is a big story. Everyone is expecting that. You have the prior information. Do you go on and want the politician and do the story? No, you go and do the story. You have to draw. When it comes to ethics, you have to choose between now friendship, family, and work. And
ah,
eventually, in our line of duty, the work will always supersede friendship.
ah. So the next question is,
Yeah.
how do you see the role of
Yeah.
Kenyan media as a watchdog of our government and powerful institutions?
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate that we've seen the government coming up to gag the media, and they are doing this in relation to advertisement. Media runs the sole donor or the sole funding of the media houses is through advertisement. I'll give you a simple scenario that Standard has been in. You find that the Standard is turning out to be is playing the critical role of the opposition in this country. And in that, you've seen the former peers for ICT, Edward Kisiangani, professor, coming up and giving directives that not Standard should not be given funds, Standard should not be given advertisement from the government. Recently, we are battling a court case with the government. Say they are threatening to shut down some of our channels. But you find that they claim that KRA owes Standard 48 million, which is right. But the government owes Standard 1.2 billion. Why close Standard for 48 million, yet someone is asking for his 1.2 billion? So you find that, yes, Kenya, to some level, Kenya has grown. There is some freedom of expression. You find that if a media guy is subjected to some kind of torture or some elements of media space is becoming a threat, you'll find politicians, you'll find the parliament debating that, you'll find other media houses running stories highlighting that this is not right. Media is we've been given some freedom, but to some level, the government of the day has some power, has some muscles, and it ends up having its way in some cases. But kudos to the media houses, they have stood their ground, they're doing the watchdog duty diligently.
That Standard case was very unfortunate. I saw it on social media, the one that the government said that they're not going to advertise on your platform. That was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
And the next question
you find that the media houses have not they have not withered. They are continuing. The headlines are still open. And the truth of the word, if the government maybe feels Standard or any other media house is not working in line with the constitution, there's no case that has been filed against any headlines. There's no case that has been filed against, meaning what you are doing is in line with the constitution.
So are you guys going to continue with the sensationalist headlines?
For sure. For sure, we're not sensational. We're reporting facts. So long as we are going to do that.
So the next question is on newsroom management. So how is the editorial independence protected or compromised in your newsroom?
In some cases, especially being that media is dependent entirely on advertisement. You find that I want to give an example where we have an advertisement with Safaricom running. And today, or we have an advertisement with the maybe Equity Bank running on our media platform. That is generating income for the company that pays our salaries. But again, there is a situation, a story of fraud that is being reported in Equity or Safaricom. You find that when you go and conduct that interview, the editors have to weigh between your story and the funds we are receiving from these companies. And in a way, you find that it becomes very difficult to have our story. Again, I'll give you another scenario of these media houses have an input of politicians. Like, let me use our example. We are aligned to Moi's family, the former president, Daniel Arap Moi's family. They have shares in our media houses. Let's use the media marks. They always say that it belonged to the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta. How will that media story carry out negative stories or negative publicity against the boss? You find that in that scenario, they have to choose between the story going out and protecting the image of the owner of the company. So in that situation, you find yourself in between that line. So to some extent, there is some influence in what goes out on the media houses.
Great answer. So the next question is on media ownership. In your view, how does media ownership affect the type of stories that get reported? which
I think
kind of answers the previous.
what I was saying previously is that the media owner, let's say, let me use raw media. SK Masharia decides that no, I have interest in this company, and unfortunately, let's use the betting industry. You find that right now there is that calls that media houses should not broadcast, should not give platform to betting companies. But maybe some of the bosses have betting companies. How do you go against the boss who is the owner of the station and he is also having a betting company? It becomes very difficult. How will you, as a reporter, not do a story about that? So they play a critical role. Media owners, just like any business, he's the sole investor, enterpriser in that entity. So he chooses what to do. He shapes the discourse in that media house.
And how does your media house usually go about fact-checking stories?
Pardon?
How does your media house usually go around fact-checking stories?
Oh, fact-checking. You know, once you are given a job as a reporter, you become the brand ambassador of that company. The company treats you as the first fact finder of that story. If there's something happening in Kisumu, or Nyanza, where I'm based, someone has heard in Nairobi, an editor has heard that there is a corruption syndicate in Kisumu. The first person they will call, because they believe my want to be the golden truth, they will call me, tell me we have this information. Can you go out there, activate your sources, and find out for us? If it's a story that is touching on let me use the story of the slain Wells Fargo HR manager, Willie Zayeko, who was murdered brutally.
Yeah.
There's some maybe there is some rumors that some people have been arrested. How will my company fact check that? They'll call me. I'll go to the regional boss and ask him, is it true that there's some people who have been apprehended? I'll go to the courts, find out, where's the file of this and this? And then I'll give back the report with the evidence documented. In media, it's about evidence. Don't ever run a story about rumors, hearsays. Just find the burden of proof. The burden of proof lies with the reporter. The reporter on the ground has the burden of proof. No one else will give you the right information away from your groundsman who is at the tail end of what is happening. So I will say that our media house heavily relies on us, and we as reporters, we rely on our sources to ensure that we give credible information away.
So in a scenario where you want to report a story on a company, but the company is heavily refusing you guys to report the story, but it's a very important story. But
we will run the story. What we do in that situation, make sure you call whoever is supposed to give you a reply. Record his conversation. Do a message. Record, have the evidence that, so that when you're running a story, you'll give a disclaimer at the end and say our efforts to reach out for a reply from so and so company were futile. Our messages went unanswered. Our phone calls went unanswered. No one, you have acquitted yourself. No one can take you anywhere for such a bold stand.
So the next question is, in very sensitive, how do you guys approach reporting very sensitive information, like child exploitation, things like that?
Yeah, I'll tell you that that one falls basically under investigative journalism. And one, I can gather the material. At let's say we're investigating a woman, a ladies syndicate that is auctioning body parts. Let's say there isn't allegation of known medical that they are trafficking human kidneys.
Yeah.
You know, that's a sensitive story that someone can go down with you. What we'll do, maybe we can use our secret cameras. One, you will have to involve your secret cameras. Two, you'll have to hide the faces of your sources because you have to protect your sources. Three, after gathering the information, we can decide that to help that report on the ground, who has shot the videos, he has everything. The story is done from Nairobi. So that when they are trying to connect the dots, they fail to understand how can Nairobi person know this person on the ground. They have helped the report on the ground. The story has gone out. You have protected the sources. Again, by the time, and we also talk to security agents. When you're doing such stories, we involve security agents. We have Office of Data Protection. We have we have that the companies always give us protection at times when you're doing such sensitive stories. They'll give you everything that you need, so long as you have justified to the editors that this story is sensitive and it's worth going out. They will always help. At times, so even when the stories are running, you understand when Jichopev Muhammad Ali was doing his stories. At the time when the he was already flown out of the country until the situation was down. That is when he comes back. So companies go they go an extra end to make sure that right stories are going out at the same time they're protecting their journalists. Yeah.
So the last question is on digital journalism. Yeah. How has the rise of social media and digital platforms changed your approach to news gathering and reporting?
Yeah, social media is the way to go. The digital journalism is slowly affecting and greatly affecting the mainstream media. I will give you a scenario where someone has been hacked in Kisumu town. It is 9 a.m. Our next bulletin is at 1 or at 11. Before that story, you get to run it on mainstream media. The social media, it's all over. It's all over. So people don't rely more on the social media. Yes, they will come back to the mainstream media for fact checking because in social media, there are no regulations. People believe that it is more of rumors. And unless someone sees on mainstream media, you'll say, okay. And you find that when you're running a social media page is running stories that can be corroborated with what's running on mainstream media, people now start taking that person who is running a social media account as a golden truth. Again, I want to tell you, nowadays people spend more time on mobile phones. People get information on mobile phones. So it is changing the dynamics that now mainstream media have to go down to the mobile phones, have to activate their social media pages and make people now rely on their social media. And the effect is that people have now to go home because they are employing someone who is all round. They are looking for someone who can go digital, who can go mainstream. That now, if you are not able to go radio way, TV way, journalism, digital journalism way, they'll do away with you. You might be good in radio, but how do you often share on your, how active is your social media page? So that when you go live, can you attract 3,000 people watching your show on social media? If not, because no one is coming home to watch TV, but someone can go on Facebook and say, okay, let me listen to this. What is the guy saying? And you keep him glued for the next 1 hour. Next time, he'll come looking for your page and your media house. So it has really changed the landscape and the scope of media houses.
So, as a young and upcoming journalist, is it very advisable to start utilizing those platforms and start posting stories there?
Yeah. You know, right now when you are being employed, maybe very few people ask for your CV. Someone wants to see what can you do, not what you have gone to school to learn. They are really interested in What can we do? That's why you're finding comedians, they're coming in and occupying spaces. They have no training in journalism, but they are taking the lead show, they are taking the lead roles in the media houses, and they are commanding followership. So, as a young upcoming journalist, what I can tell you is you're joining the media, not at the same time. I joined media back in 2013. I've been there now for quite some period, and I can tell you the level that I joined the media house is not the same entry point that is happening now. You have to be very good at what you're doing. If you have a chance to, at Daystar, go to that radio, learn it, master the radio part, master the TV part, then hit the global space, hit the digital space. You can start recording your short clips, short video, upload them, let them start attracting masses. When you go to that panel and say, I'm Dennis Shaka, someone will go easily to Facebook and look, Dennis Shaka, who is he? What has he done before? Before they start asking will be for the CV at the tail end of that interview. When someone has already made up his mind, I want to hire this guy can bring change in my media house. That is where he'll ask you for a CV just to document it. The HR. But no one will look at your CV before seeing what you can do. So the way to go is the digital space. Start be good at whatever, even if it's your vernacular, be good at it. Because people are going the digital. Imagine running a platform that is talking about deep Luo culture in your mother tongue. You are very eloquent. People want to resonate in the most endearing language, in the most endearing approach. How will you do that? There's no media space that maybe is going to give you that platform. But start doing that on your social media page and see if Ramogi TV will not come through.
So if so I should start posting stories on social media and also writing articles.
Try to gain a followership on your social media handles. Most of our young guys, you go to the page, it is full of nudes and such stuff. Hate speech. There are space to post nonsensical. When you come to an interview, I'm the boss who is interviewing you, and the first time I check your page, and the first thing I meet is a half-naked person. Will I still hire you? No, I won't hire you. So, try and use that space constructively. You can even do jokes, attract. But let them have some meaning. Let them have a message that someone can easily resonate with it and say, okay, this young man was doing this joke. If we turn it around, it can be content, and this content we can sell on our media space.